campaign with money. However, a friend again who comes from state areas, we don't have money. How are we going to be able to succeed in our electoral campaign? I think I will want to say, and in the name of us all, the true SDF militants, that we are richer than citizens, in that our riches come from the person of the national chairman in the name of Mr. Lee John True Lee. His presence everywhere is more than 10 million of CFA francs. So what we want to do, we should get satisfied and be only ready to accept wherever he goes. The word from his mouth is much more than the money he has brings out to fool you and then buy you to become a slave tomorrow. So,
whether there is a clear relationship between what the man that handles economics, the person that handles social affairs, with the political system that we are now to establish in Cameroon, so that we see whether SDF really is a credible party to take over and transform this country for the welfare of Cameroonians. The first question will be handled by my colleagues. These are people with whom we have been working in this committee. Dr. Ben Dwak will come up to answer the question.
The guy who asked the question, what and why SDF has heretofore highlighted, human rights. I think that is a mistaken belief, and it springs from the fact that there is, in my view, an incomplete understanding of what human rights means within or among some members of this assembly. Human rights can be divided into there are two generation rights. The first deals with civil and political rights. Second generation rights deal with social, economic, and civil rights. And I think insofar as SDF has been preaching that power should devolve, that power should be given to the people, that our living conditions should be ameliorated, then SDF has been talking about human rights. We have been saying, give us more social rights in Cameroon. And I think, when eventually the resolutions of the committee would be drawn up, the assembly would see that a lot of emphasis would be placed on the further sharpening of civil and political rights. And Mr. Ford in his report, or Dr. Ford in his report this morning, alluded to the fact that early on in the SDF, it had only legal advisors. Sure, legal advisors, when we talk about legal advisors, I'm sure they advise the National Executive Committee on certain issues such as human rights. And that is why SDF has stood at the forefront. It was there when Celestin Monga came back. SDF was there when Senfo Tokam was picked up. Everywhere where the rights of any single Cameroon has been challenged, the rights of each and every other Cameroonian has been challenged, and SDF has been there to support every individual. And Dr. Ford this morning proposed that a committee be created that would deal with legal and that would be called the legal and human rights.
When we don't present for one again, any man, where you don't write his name here, he go ask question for the person where he will present the report. Now so where it be for teaching how far they may be work. We know what that kind of one minister can't talk when I begin to carry all the people going, not talk anything. When a minister will explain to you, they will explain to you what they are doing, and you have the right to question them. And you can only learn it inside SDF. Will I get fine? If we get for stay here for 2 days, we will stay for 2 days. ask the same with the close which I if a council member will ask him and make him give some small
Je vous dis que nous devons savoir une chose à cette phase cruciale de notre vie et de la vie de notre pays. Nous devons choisir entre aller, n'est-ce pas, boire et manger et rester ici, faire jouer pleinement la démocratie. Depuis 30 ans, nous n'étions plus habitués au jeu démocratique. Aujourd'hui, la démocratie, c'est ça, donner à chacun l'occasion de s'exprimer, d'écouter ce qu'on a d'autre à dire. La démocratie consomme énormément de temps, et si vous voulez changer ce pays, vous êtes obligé de vous soumettre à ce jeu-là. Donc je demande à tous ceux qui veulent que nous changions ce pays, qu'ils restent. Le SDF est l'école de la démocratie et nous vous en donnons la démonstration. Alors maintenant, nous allons passer aux questions adressées à la commission information et presse. Nous avons ici 8 intervenants enregistrés. Monsieur Mofen Aboubakar, Mr. S. Ntita, Mr. Ayamba Kiri, Davinson George Chebe, Tenga, Ayangwe Selson.
I come from Limbe, Southwest. I would like to give a suggestion to the Press and Information Secretary that Press and Information Secretaries be made available at divisional level so that they can
activités concernant les activités du parti dans les régions. En ce qui concerne l'impression du journal à Calabar, je suis très d'accord avec M. Dicacré, je peux me noyer. Je n'irai plus là-bas. Mais le problème de l'impression du journal, c'est que nous voulons imprimer nos journaux dans les rotatives. Nous imprimons 10 000 exemplaires du journal en français et 10 000 en anglais. On ne peut pas imprimer 15 et 30 000 exemplaires du journal dans les offsets. Là où on doit faire l'emballage avec les mains. On doit recruter au moins 20 personnes et ça va prendre 6 jours. Et l'information, c'est un denrée périssable. Merci. That we could not possibly report about party activities all over. And I recognize that it was a handicap. But I called the indulgence of the convention that we are a new paper and we are not able to install structures. We are going to make sure that provincial and even divisional press secretaries send regular reports about the activities of the party to us so we can publish them. About this proposal that there were principal facilities in Limbe, I very much agree. But I said that since information is a perishable commodity, we wanted to always print it at a rotary print, which prints and folds the paper at the same time. It makes us capable of printing 30 copies of the paper in one day. But if we have to print the offset structure kind of it has in Limbe, it's going to take about 6 days and we are going to recruit about 20 people to be folding. I know that with the share that the government has, that we have left no way they are going to continue to stifle information in this country. We are very much aware that if they know where we're printing today, arrangements are being made even to open an underground rotary. So you can be sure that so long as the party continues to be democratic and popular, you are going to have the SDF echo bought by people.
And I was wondering about whether the press secretary has taken any initiative to consult the legal advisors in the party to bring an action against those persons or the authority responsible for this illegal action.
Je ne prétends pas avoir la compétence de pouvoir répondre à ce genre de questions. Je crois que le professeur Yangwe, en tant que juriste, c'est lui qui devrait me conseiller sur quelle conduite à tenir. Et il sait bien qu'il allait adopter. Nous avons passé 3 jours à Douala en essayant d'imprimer ces journaux. Parce qu'on tenait à tout faire pour avoir les copies de ces journaux pendant le congrès. Les agents du Sénat qui s'occupaient des anti-gangs étaient dans 2 cas autour de l'imprimerie de l'entreprise. Et chaque fois qu'on entrait, ils fouillaient tout ce qu'on avait. On a donc décidé d'imprimer parce qu'on croyait que c'était un problème politique. Mais nous avons pris le soin de consulter dans le consulat américain. Le consul américain à Douala, Mme Saïson, a été saisie par moi et M. Alain Kempa, le directeur général de Chalet Chepteau. La dame nous a conseillé d'aller faire sortir les journaux parce qu'on a imprimé les journaux étaient bloqués dans cette imprimerie pendant 2 jours. Et la dame nous a envoyé un diplomate de la mission du consulat américain pour venir constater ce qui s'est passé. Nous sommes donc partis à l'imprimerie avec le diplomate et le diplomate a constaté quand les militaires et les habitants nous arrêtaient. On nous a donc conduit au service provincial d'activité, là où le commissaire divisionnaire, M. P.P. Ebenezer, m'a retenu pendant 3 heures de temps. Il était question de passer ces journaux à la censure. Mais comme je vous ai dit, nous ne pouvons pas accepter qu'un régime que nous voulons renverser ait le droit.
We are going to have committee reports, and at the end of the committee reports, we are going to have elections. That is the program for
this as far as the financial contribution is concerned, and yet we have a lot of militants outside there, and in social democracy, we do not allow a few individuals to run the party financially, because the danger we face is that these rich people could influence the party and take us away from the ideals that led to the founding of our party. Therefore, your party depends on you to run the party. We depend on you to raise the money. The very first thing we did was to come up with an amount that could be contributed by our militants in order for us to run this, our convention. And the National Executive Council decided to ask that we should pay 200 francs each of us as the right of a militant to be proud to have participated in their convention. Why did we choose to ask 200 francs? It was not because we felt that 200 francs was the most important thing, but it was an opportunity for the party to show its mobilization capability. So you can see that in the financial area, we can link it to political mobilization. What we attempted to do was to develop a form which was sent to the cells, I mean to the world, through the...
Est-ce que c'est parce que les autres provinces sont redevables au parti que les matériels qui sont fabriqués, puisque nous voyons beaucoup de matériel du parti au niveau de Bamenda, et qu'au niveau des autres provinces, il y a manque? Est-ce que vraiment c'est une sanction qu'on est en train de faire aux provinces redevables, ou bien qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? C'est tout ma question.
For quarterly, into four times, how do you get 1,000 francs? My second question is, your assistant is a national assistant treasurer. He is a producer. He is a salesman, and he receives the money. Who controls him? How do you account that to this August assembly? One, it appears from your statement this morning, there was some kind of indirect notice from your report. You didn't even give a word of appreciation to those who used at the initial stage of this party their creative ideas by designing party materials which we are today selling. So my question is, how much does it cost to appreciate this in front of this Congress? Two, orders were placed by your office. Goods were produced and delivered to you, to your assistant, and to other national members of the party. Deliveries were signed by you, sales were made, money is collected following our investigations. These monies have not been paid to the producers. To the best of my knowledge and what concerns what I'm saying, if monies were paid, the party will have had at least 7 million francs profit. They are holding this profit and holding also the producers who invested their money hostage. What plans do you have on this? What do you do in order to have Finance and Secretaries of State, will you be able to manage the finances of this country when a small amount like this, there's already a gross misconduct? Mr. Treasurer, the fifth question. On the 10th of April 1991, in Douala, when your committee, the Finance Committee, had a meeting, it was decided and agreed upon a sample of wrappers which were made or produced by some militants. They invested their money. It was adopted. The minutes are there that those wrappers be sold and parties receive a profit of 1,000 pounds on each wrapper. These wrappers have not been sold. It was a trial and there were some errors. Now, this morning you declared that those wrappers are illegal. Now my question is, where will those wrappers be kept? Should we burn them? Should we put them in the pit latrine? Should we dash out? If we dash out, since they have been declared illegal, don't you think it will be possible for some militants to arrest those who are going to use those wrappers? And the last question, Mr. Treasurer, how will you solve all these problems so that militants can be encouraged to use their brain to contribute more money, to have courage of propagating the path of interest?
Now, Mr. Abudu did not stop there. Mr. Abudu did not stop there. Now, we were producing party cards. Somebody talked about party cards being expensive and so forth. We were producing party cards and selling them for 500 francs. Now, certain militants complain that we should modify those cards and make better ones. Now, the Secretary General contacted Awudu, who contacted me by telephone, that he would like to produce party cards for the party. I took two cards of 500 francs, the time we approved, and sent to Mr. Awudu as a sample. He should make cards that are better than those ones and send to me to present to the National Executive for approval and give us the price. The price must be determined and approved by the National Executive. To my greatest surprise, Abudu entered the factory and produced cards randomly and went to the market and was selling them at 1,000 francs. Now, listen. Some of these cards, I never approved those cards from Mr. Awudu. He bundled them, some of them in cartons, and sent to my office in Yaoundé. Those bundled and sent them, their receipt, and the people who brought them. For your interest, this book contains every franc that somebody has ever offered to the party and entered the National Treasury's account. You are free to verify at any moment. I say it again, as I did say, if you sell anything to the party, please cross-check if it reaches the right quarter. Everything sent to the party is recorded at the national level. Make sure. And at the chairman's residence. These two places I'm
market. Please note, when the National Treasurer read his report, I did mention that you people must be surprised, especially foreigners, how a party like SDF is so big, a rally, they see muffler, they see car, they see this, but they have very little amount in the coffers. This is because people have taken an opportunity of the popularity of this party to produce materials and sell to enrich themselves. And this has to stop. Those who have sacrificed themselves in this party is not to make a party where people come under the pretext of militants, but to use the party to make money for themselves. They do not belong to this party. Again, listen, another issue. S'il vous plaît. There is another burning issue which has been mentioned here about producers. They did not mention names, but some of you must have received copies of certain letters circulating around here. Everybody's having. I've had about 4 copies of the document, and one of them that I was referring to, that people have suffered to produce party materials and the party is not paying. Now, when this party was created, and the Constituent Assembly, which met in Bamenda, elected legal advisors. Legal advisors have to advise the party on legal issues, if I'm right. But one of the legal advisors, lawyer Ashu, in Douala, entered into some kind of business with some people to produce party materials for which he did not give an account. He was not nominated or voted to produce materials, but he went to produce stickers and whatnot. Nobody authorized him to the best of my knowledge. Now, these materials, whether they were sold or not, the producer has been on our neck. That material was produced and we have not paid. This matter has come up several times, and we sympathize with the gentleman, and we have set up an inquiry to look into this matter. It's a complicated matter, and lawyer Sende is here. He is the one heading the commission